Canada's real estate landscape is shifting. While Toronto's condo market is facing challenges with oversupply, areas like southwestern Ontario, London regions are experiencing a different trend. Despite a bustling December and January, recent snow squalls and economic uncertainties have paused market activities. Let's delve into the data to understand these dynamics. Now, let's dig into some of these data points. So, the very first one I'm going to show you is transaction volume, and this is a graph from 2015 to 2025. If you look at today's date, you're looking at 8,231 transactions as of January 2025. And as you roll back and you look at years before, you'll notice we're actually above the total transaction volume of December 2023, definitely above 2022. It's not really until you go back to the craziness of 2020 to 2022 that you really see a jump. And I like looking at stabilized data all the way back to 2015 to see a pattern that every single year around this time, you will see a massive dip, and then you'll see transaction volumes work their way back up into the spring. Now let's look at the peaks. If you look back historically, you're going to see May, you're going to see May. Oh, you're going to see March. You're going to see March. You're going to see July. And then if you work your way back, it goes right back to May, to May, to May, to May, to May. Why am I pointing that out? A lot of people like to compare today's market to what happened in 2020 to 2022. If you look at the history of real estate, the spring market was always right up until May. Canadians like their long weekend, and all of a sudden they start checking out after May 2-4 weekend, go away for vacation, and then they come back in the fall. A lot of people are waiting until the spring market to list their property for sale. Let's look at another statistic that might impact your decision when it comes to when you're going to list your property. And that statistic is average days on market. How long your property is going to be on market where priced and marketed effectively you can expect to sell. In today's market, you're looking at 34 days. Last year around this time was 36 days. And then you see a giant reduction down to 27, all the way down to 11. At the very bottom, 7 days on market, meaning they were holding offers for a week and then selling. And then you're seeing it cycling back up to the 29 to 25 and change days on market. Why that data point is important is you want to reverse engineer the spring market from that date. If you're targeting selling before that May 2-4 drop off, maybe you should think about getting your property ready in March or April to benefit from that market. If you're planning on overpricing your property, maybe you want to pad those dates a little bit because you may have to go through a bunch of price reductions to get to your final price. And speaking of sales to list price ratio, today it sits at 0.98%, meaning if you've marketed and priced your home effectively, it is selling for 98% of your list price. So if it's $1 million, you're selling for $980,000. Keep in mind that isn't always the case. Sometimes you can start your house at a certain price, reduce it. And I am seeing offers come in sometimes $400,000 under asking price. Very unreasonable offers because buyers think every seller is desperate and the bank's going to take back their properties. Not always the case. So understand that that is the statistic, but you need to operate on a case-by-case basis. And the last stat that I like to review monthly on this channel is the months of inventory. So we are currently sitting at, I believe, 4.86 months of inventory, meaning if we didn't list another house, it would take us 4.86 months to run out of houses to sell. What does that mean to you? It means a buyer's market is anything over 6 months of inventory. A balanced market is right around where we are right now. And a seller's market is typically 2 to 3 months of inventory. So we are actually more of a balanced market than it may seem out there from what you're reading in the headlines and the news. Also why it's important to look at the data. Now, from a national perspective, in January 2025, Canadian home sales decreased by 3.3% from December, yet remained 2.9% higher than January 2024. This indicates a market adjustment to recent economic shifts, with sellers taking the lead in many regions. The takeaway for you is you should be informed about what's happening at a national level as they set the context for regional market dynamics. But regional market dynamics, I think, are even more important because what's happening in Toronto isn't necessarily going to affect a market like London, Ontario. For example, in January 2025, the GTA condo sales declined by 11% year over year, while new listings increased 41%. Leading to a 46% rise in active listings. We had a recent mastermind with Tom Story where he talked about if there's 100 condos for sale, only 13 of them are going to sell. So how can you make sure that you're one of those 13? You may want to watch that replay to find out, or join our insiders list where we drop the replays and insights like that. Also, in terms of analysis, from my perspective, the oversupply, particularly in the smaller units, has created a disconnect between the available inventory and the buyer demand, putting buyers agents and buyers in the driver's seat. And a takeaway for you is if you're in that market, you may need to adjust your pricing strategy or consider a property enhancements to attract the right buyers in this type of a competitive marketplace. If you want to be connected with one of our prime partners in your area, you can also contact us below and we will make those connections because that could be the difference in you selling or sitting on the market. Now, we are located in southwestern Ontario with London, the London greater region being the heart of our market. So let's use that as a case study of how do we compare to what's happening in the GTA? Well, despite national trends, London experienced a 4.5% increase in the average home price in January 2025 compared to the previous year. This growth suggests that demand, possibly due to affordability relative to larger cities and a diverse range of property types, including residential, commercial, and investment properties, farms, and new developments, are attracting people to come down the highway. I would say we do see a very diversified mix of opportunities in our regions, whether you're looking at London, you're looking at Lucan, you're looking at St. Thomas, Port Stanley, Grand Bend. We have products in all asset classes in all of those territories. And it's been really interesting to see how they intersect. Do they still experience the same lulls at other markets when we see massive snowstorms? Definitely, but we've seen consistent activity through December and January where people are telling us the market is terrible. I don't think that's actually the case. I just think that it's going to take a lot more work to find the right people to match them with the right property and cut through all of the inventory and the noise that's out there. Also, speaking to the impact of recent weather events, we faced significant snow squalls in early February with temperatures dropping to -16. I do think the impact of recent weather events have had a major part to play in the slowdown we've seen over the last couple weeks and activities. Literally, with the amount of snow that we're seeing, people can't even get signs in the ground, much less do open house, much less go out shopping. But properties are still selling. I actually did a showing yesterday at a property that's been off the market for 4 months with a very motivated buyer and an agent that took the effort of digging up that deal and asking if it was still for sale. Again, he went that extra mile, and that's where we are seeing the activity. The takeaway for you should be that severe weather can definitely deter buyers from property viewings and delay transactions, but such pauses are typically short-lived. And with markets rebounding as conditions improve, I bet you when you see that snow melting and it gets sunny outside, you are going to see people out and about. If you're a seller, I'd definitely be prepared for brief disruptions, changing up strategies, taking down your listings, maybe giving it a break and retooling the marketing. But keep in mind that if you're a buyer, probably a great time for you to find opportunities when everybody is sitting back building snowmen. And last but not least, the economic uncertainties in front of us when it comes to tariffs and elections have frozen a portion of the marketplace, albeit not a massive portion of the marketplace. Typically, the people that are just spending all of their time consuming social media, consuming media. I'm telling a lot of people just go outside, go for a walk, get around people that are actually doing things and zoom out for a second. Politicians are going to make promises. Media is going to lead with fear. And I promise you that if you think Canada is a great place to live in the next 10 to 20 years, that people are still going to be succeeding in spite of their politics, not because of them. And don't be one of those people that's just living in an echo chamber, surrounding yourself with people that aren't doing anything. I would get around people that are actually active in these marketplaces. And I'm not just trying to pump the market and say, go buy and sell real estate, but talk to people who are actually out doing the thing that you are looking to do, whether that's changing your current living situation, whether that's opening up a business. One of the superpowers we have at Prime is focused diversification. We do residential, commercial, investments, agriculture, luxury, new development. And in all of those asset classes, we are seeing that there's always people succeeding in up or down markets. I think the major difference between the people who find success in up and down markets are the ones who make their decisions because of fear, or the people that make their decisions in spite of it. Hopefully you got some value from this market update. If you did, jump in the comments, let me know. If you're on our insiders newsletter, just hit reply. If I didn't touch any data points you want me to cover, I will provide it next month. Also, if you're getting this in time, we have a insiders mastermind being hosted at a spectacular converted church. We only do these 4 times a year. They are for our Prime Insider community. If you want to become one of the insiders, just click the link below, join the newsletter. That's where we typically drop it. We host these events for past clients, builders, developers, investors, anybody in the industry, anybody who's entrepreneurship, as a way of giving back to our ecosystem that has given us so much. Thanks again for joining us, and I'll see you on the next one.